Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Memory. It's the powerhouse behind pretty much everything, isn't it? Daily decisions, solving problems, how we connect with people. But that worry about keeping sharp, especially as we get older, well, it's a real thing. And it sends a lot of us looking for answers, often down the supplement aisle.
Exactly. And that's our mission for this deep dive. You brought us some really interesting source material, and we're going to unpack 5 specific supplements people are turning to for, cognitive support. And the sources suggest these aren't just empty promises. They might actually help improve memory, maybe protect against decline, potentially even lower risks for serious issues down the line.
Right. So the goal here is efficiency. Let's give you a quick, solid understanding. We've got, a varied list. Essential fats, vitamins, herbs, cell protectors, even something you usually hear about at the gym. Let's get into it and see what the research really says, how they work, what they do, and crucially, how to use them safely. What are the warnings? Okay, let's start with the absolute foundation, omega-3 fatty acids. We call them brain food, yeah? But the sources really zeroes in on one type, DHA. Apparently, it's the star for memory and learning.
It is. And what's fascinating is that DHA isn't just like fuel. It's structural. Our brain cells, the neurons, their membranes are made with this stuff. DHA is critical. That those membranes are healthy, flexible, they communicate better, faster signals. That directly translates to better memory, quicker thinking.
Wow, so it's literally part of the hardware, helping the brain's chips talk to each other. And the sources also mention anti-inflammatory effects, like protecting those structures.
Precisely. It helps calm inflammation, which is a big factor in age-related changes.
Okay.
Forgetting it, fatty fish is top tier. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, packed with it.
Okay.
And for plant-based folks, you got flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts. Supplements are obviously an option too.
Now, here's something interesting from the research you flagged. It seems omega-3s might work better with other things like antioxidants, B12. Why is that?
It really points to how interconnected brain health is,
Yeah.
You can have great structure from omega-3s, but if you're missing key vitamins for nerve function, like B12, or for energy production, the whole system doesn't work optimally. They really complement each other.
Ah, that makes total sense. Synergy. But before we move on, that safety warning, it seems pretty important. Omega-3s and bleeding risk.
Absolutely critical. If you're on any kind of blood thinner medication, you must talk to your doctor before starting omega-3 supplements. Non-negotiable.
Good to know. Okay.
So if omega-3s are about structure, let's pivot to just filling the basic operational gaps. Multivitamins. Simple, affordable. Most people just think general health, right? But the sources connect them directly to cognitive benefits.
That's the part that jumped out at me. And it wasn't just a small mention. The sources point to a big clinical trial, Mass General Brigham, suggesting daily multivitamins could slow cognitive aging in older adults by up to 2 years. That feels like a huge claim for a simple multi.
It is a massive finding. And it makes you wonder, were these people just deficient to begin with? Maybe. The sources suggest the benefit comes from ensuring you have good levels of key brain nutrients. B vitamins are huge here. B6, B9, B12. Is it for nerves, metabolism, plus vitamin D and antioxidants like C and E. For a lot of people, a multivitamin is just a safe, cheap way to cover those bases. A bit of insurance against deficiencies that hit the brain.
Right. So less supercharge, more making sure the tank isn't empty. A baseline policy for the brain. Makes sense. All right, moving beyond those foundational bits, let's look at things working on more specific pathways. Bacopa Monnieri. This one has history.
It really does. Deep roots in Ayurvedic medicine, used for centuries specifically for enhancing memory, clarity, that sort of thing.
Okay, so how does it actually work? What's the mechanism?
This is where it gets really interesting, yeah. Bacopa seems to improve nerve signaling directly. Think of it as maybe optimizing the brain's communication network, making signals travel faster. Plus, it acts as a natural anti-inflammatory and seems to protect brain cells from stress. So multiple angles.
Faster signals, less inflammation, protection. Sounds amazing. But there's a catch, isn't there? The sources mention something about timing.
Absolutely. This isn't a pop a pill and feel sharp kind of supplement. If you want a quick boost for a meeting, Bacopa is probably not your go-to. The sources are pretty clear. It can take several weeks, sometimes longer. Consistent daily use is key before you really notice those effects on focus, clarity, memory, recall.
Okay, so patience is required. It's a long game.
It is, and some people might experience mild digestive upset, so that's something to be aware of too.
Good to know. Sets expectations. Now, phosphatidylserine, that's a mouthful. But the sources frame it as a key cell protector, important for nerve communication.
Yeah, let's break that one down. Phosphatidylserine, or just PS, it's another fatty compound, a phospholipid, and it's vital for keeping cell membranes, especially in the brain, fluid and functional. Remember those neuron membranes we talked about with DHA? PS helps keep them supple. If they get stiff, communication slows down. PS helps maintain that speed and efficiency.
Got it. So protecting the communication lines, keeping them fast and clear, what specific benefits did the sources highlight for PS?
Because it helps maintain those healthy membranes, it seems to improve blood flow within the brain, which is always good. Supports general learning and memory. And it's particularly noted for potentially helping slow down memory loss in older adults who are just starting to see those mild age-related changes.
Oh, interesting.
It seems to target that early stage where membrane function might be declining a bit.
That's really specific, addressing a potential mechanism of aging directly, not just general nutrition. Fascinating. Okay, so we've hit the fats, the vitamins, the herbs. Now for number 5. And this one might seem like it came out of left field. Creatine. Most people associate it purely with sports performance, right? Building muscle.
Exactly, and that's the surprise nugget from the sources. But think about it. The brain is incredibly energy hungry. It uses a ton of ATP. That's the body's main energy currency. Creatine's main job in the body is to help recycle and supply that ATP quickly. And that applies just as much to brain cells as muscle cells. It fuels the neurons.
Ah, so it's not about bulking up your brain. It's about providing the raw energy it needs to function,
Yep.
especially under pressure.
Precisely. The cognitive benefits really shine when the brain is stressed. Think long study sessions, intense work projects, or even just being sleep deprived. That extra energy reserve helps maintain mental stamina. Research suggests improvements in memory recall, reaction time, even concentration.
And we know creatine's pretty well studied and generally safe from its sports history. That carries over to cognitive use.
Generally, yes, it has a solid safety profile, but there's one really important piece of usage advice the sources emphasize.
Let me guess.
Water. You got it. Hydration is absolutely key. Creatine pulls water into cells, so you need to drink plenty of water while taking it. Otherwise, you might get some water retention or maybe mild stomach discomfort.
Right. Simple enough, but crucial. Drink your water.
So that brings us neatly to the bigger picture context. Safety and how these supplements fit into an overall healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, the big question. Are these memory supplements actually safe? The sources generally say yes when taken as directed, but that as directed part is doing a lot of work.
It really is, and we absolutely have to emphasize this. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist before starting any new supplement. Seriously, it's not just theoretical. These things can interact with medications, omega-3s and blood thinners, we mentioned that, but others could interact with sedatives, heart drugs. You need professional advice.
Definitely. Better safe than sorry.
And starting with a low dose, seeing how you react, that's always the smart way to go.
Okay, essential advice. But this leads to another fundamental question. If these supplements offer benefits, are they better than just eating well? Is food better?
The sources are pretty clear on this. Generally speaking, whole foods are the best source for brain nutrients. Why? Because food offers this complex mix. Vitamins, minerals, fiber, other compounds all working together, often more effectively absorbed than an isolated supplement. Think fatty fish, nuts, leafy greens, maybe spices like turmeric.
Right, the whole package deal.
Exactly. Supplements are great tools, really useful for targeting specific needs or filling known gaps in your diet. But they're not meant to replace a healthy eating pattern. They supplement it.
That makes sense. Food first. Supplements for specific support, which I think leads to maybe the biggest takeaway from this whole deep dive, the idea of synergy. That these supplements really only shine when they're part of a bigger picture of healthy habits.
Absolutely. This was a very strong theme in the source material. The core finding is that lifestyle habits have a more profound, longer-lasting impact on brain health than supplements alone. We're talking regular exercise, a balanced diet, getting enough quality sleep, and keeping your brain active puzzles, reading, learning new skills, that kind of thing.
So supplements can help, they can be accelerators, but they can't substitute for living healthy.
That's the bottom line. They complement a healthy life, they don't create it.
And just to quickly add, the sources did mention students or anyone doing intense mental work might find specific support from omega-3s, B vitamins, and creatine helpful for focus and energy during those demanding times. Okay, so let's quickly recap. We explored 5 potential allies for brain health. Omega-3s for structure, multivitamins for baseline nutrition, Bacopa for nerve signaling.
Phosphatidylserine for protecting cells, and creatine for providing that crucial brain energy.
And we covered the benefits, but also the important cautions and usage tips for each one, giving you the full picture.
Right. And if we connect all this back, it raises a really interesting point for you, the listener, to think about personally. The sources clearly state that lifestyle changes, like getting that recommended 7-9 hours of good sleep, are ultimately more effective than supplements alone. So here's the provocation. How might tracking your sleep quality or actively challenging your brain with something new, how might doing that alongside, say, starting a multivitamin, change how you perceive that supplement's effect? It really urges you to think holistically. It's not just about the pill, it's about the entire strategy for your brain health.
That is the perfect thought to end on. Holism over hype. Fantastic. Thanks for digging into the source material with us today. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.